Hey guys, it's Lizzie. Thank you guys for being here and already liking the video before the stream even started. So as you can see, my hair has changed. It is blonde. It's supposed to be blonde, but at the salon, they kind of messed it up. And in person, it looks, because I feel like on YouTube live streams, it's, sorry, I have like bags in the background. I should make it look neat and, wow. Okay, I'll be right back, you guys. Anyways, so my hair is supposed to be like a blonde color, but instead I got home and the lighting is pretty bad at the salon and there's a mirror like far away and everything. So once I got home and looked in the mirror, it was like very saturated. And on here, it looks way different than it does if you like were here physically, because YouTube live streams always like desaturate yourself and how you look. So imagine this times two. It's like a yellow color instead of blonde, which, like I said, on camera, it looks way better than how it actually looks. So I'm going back on Tuesday and we're gonna redo it and make it like a blonde color, exactly like how it was before. So it's super annoying having to go back. I tipped well. I'm not gonna like give them a bad rating or anything, even though maybe I should. Maybe they deserve a bad rating for botching someone's hair. But I haven't really wanted to be on camera or film at all because I hate how my hair looks. So I'm finally live streaming because I was like, I have to put content up. I can't just like not do YouTube for 2 weeks. But I am filming. I'm starting to do a meditation challenge, kind of like my rosary challenge, where I did a rosary every day for a month, except for it's a week challenge where I do meditation 3 times a day plus other God activities for 1 week, and it's a collaboration with a company who still haven't paid me yet. So once they pay me, I will announce the company and everything, and if they back out, then obviously I'm not working with them. But we still haven't signed a contract either, but they seem like they're a Catholic company. So I've begun filming, and that should be up on next Sunday. So in 1 week, I'm going to edit it throughout the week as I film Crossing the Trail. Thank you so much for the donation. Please pray for the repose of my soul. Aww. Tim, and comfort for the family. Appreciate how you prayed for him. Absolutely. I prayed for him every day for so long. So absolutely. Do you still attend Latin Mass even online? So I went to Latin Mass when I was becoming Catholic in like 2017, 2018. And then the Latin Mass in my neighborhood moved to a different county. So I wasn't able to attend it anymore. And so I prefer Novus Ordo, which I know is controversial to say online because there are so many Latin Catholics, traditional, lowercase t traditional Catholics online, but I do prefer Novus Ordo, so that's what I attend and go to. I was just on the East Coast, so I was able to attend Mass in person. That was Novus Ordo. And I watched online Bishop Barron's Mass and my priest parish Mass online. So that's what I've been doing during quarantine. Nick says, hi, Lizzie. I love your videos. Thank you. I love you being here. How Casey sees it, do you miss travel, or has it been nice to be home more this year? No, I completely miss traveling. Like I said, I was just on the East Coast. I'm going back to the East Coast on Saturday to Boston to visit one of my friends. So I'm traveling now. I know a lot of people are against it, but I took a COVID test when I got back and tested negative. And I'm taking a COVID test before I leave as well. So I'm taking it really seriously. I have my mask on the entire time throughout the flight. I don't eat snacks. I don't drink water at all. And I have hand sanitizer, constantly hand sanitizer. So I'm doing it in a really safe way. I kind of decided like a month ago that I'm going to actually visit my friends and family. Like my sister's not even coming home for Christmas. She's not coming back to Florida to be with our parents for Christmas. And like I understand that she doesn't want to give it to our parents who have no pre-existing conditions. But like I said, I'm going to take a COVID test before I go to Florida. Obviously, you can get it on the airplane, but so far I'm being really safe. Obviously, everyone can decide for themselves how much they want to travel, and your friends can decide if they feel comfortable with you visiting them and stuff. But yeah, I'm not gonna not see my family and best friends until like 2023. I'm just not doing that. So luckily we're legally allowed to travel and stuff, but Obviously, I've been quarantining. I mean, I tested negative, but like I'm not going anywhere anyways. Like I don't go out to eat. I go to the grocery store sometimes, and that's pretty much it. I deliver groceries sometimes, so not going to mass. So anyways, I've been really safe. I know a lot of people are going to judge me for traveling and going to the East Coast and seeing my boyfriend and stuff, but like what am I supposed to do? Like not see anyone and be like alone in my apartment for 2 years? Like that's absurd. So that's just my perspective. I understand people might disagree with me. Caitlin, can you pray for me? I've been struggling a lot mentally really bad. Go on medication. Stop saying that you're doing bad mentally. Go on medication and fix it. It's so easy. Michelle says, we aren't allowed guests where I live. That makes sense. Fatima is here. You look beautiful and blonde. Thank you. It looks good on camera, but it doesn't in person. Maybe I should have live streamed immediately. But okay, guys. So what I did is I bought this like purple shampoo that makes your hair less saturated, that makes it more white blonde. So I left it in for like several hours. So I lightened it already, but it would just take like leaving on for 15 hours to get to where I needed to be. So yes. Common Sense America, as long as you're safe. Yeah, I mean, I tested negative, so yeah, I didn't pass it on to anyone. MZ says, Lizzie, I had pulled out of RCIA at the last stage because I felt I didn't learn the things I am bothered by about Catholicism. How can I learn the faith so well that I know I'm in full agreement? So most RCIAs are horrible. I know that's really sad to say, but it's true. Most are not led by like an employee of the church. A lot of them are not led by people with like religion degrees or anything, or people who have like really studied the church. It's unfortunate, but like my RCIA, I learned a lot more by doing my own research than at my RCIA. Like I learned probably like 5 times more from my own research than anything we talked about at RCIA. So you really have to like take it into your own hands and take your conversion seriously and read books, read catechism documents, read papal documents and the catechism. Watch more of my YouTube videos. There are 100+ videos talking about theology where I've done so much research into church father writings, papal documents, catechism. So I've done research for you guys so you don't have to go to all the primary sources. And yeah, so don't rely on your RCIA. And I wish RCIA said that. Like this is the beginning. RCIA is also not the end of your education. You should continue to read and read and read. So I know like in the future, my boyfriend is definitely going to try and be an RCIA director because he's getting his PhD in theology. He's already been through like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years of school studying religion and does a ton of his own reading as well. So like my boyfriend would be a great RCIA director. Most people will not have taken 7 + 5 is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Most people will not have taken 12 years of schooling of religion and Catholicism before being an RCIA director. So I hope that answers that question. Don't leave Christ Church because your RCIA is bad. Don't leave the opportunity to ever receive the Eucharist because your RCIA is bad. I just think that doesn't make sense to me. Spooky says, I want to go blonde like you. Do it. It's really, really fun. Rez, what part of the East Coast are you? I'm not on the East Coast right now. I'm back where I live in California. I was in Florida, and I don't want to say where else I was. You guys are like, where's the exact city? What is the address where you're staying? Like, I don't want my stalkers finding me, you know? Jasmine said, it's not that easy because what if you can't afford your meds or you're medication resistant? I know what you mean, but still meds aren't always a one size fits all. Exactly. That's why there are dozens of types of medication. I know some people don't have health insurance, which I totally understand. The girl I was talking to, I'm actually friends with, and I know she has health insurance, but you can sign up for Obamacare. Sign up is coming up, I think, in October, I believe, and it's very reasonably priced. Like, if you have a mental illness that's like taking over your life, you're not going to be able to sleep. You're not going to be able to eat, work, go to school. Like it majorly inhibits your entire life, and you will actually make more money and do better in life if you are on medication. I recommend some apps all the time. GoodRx. It's an iPhone app, Android app, and it has coupon codes for all the different medications, not just mental illness, all medications, coupon codes to make them cheaper. Also, I recommend an app called Live Health Online where you can basically FaceTime, Zoom with a doctor, and really reasonably priced as well. They have coupon codes online, even if you don't have health insurance. So I know you say it's not that easy, but honestly, like, I feel like the US is the hardest country to do health insurance. People all around the world probably have universal healthcare and it's even easier. So I just know for myself, like, my mental illness is so debilitating that I would never just give up and not try to get on medication, if that makes sense. And no one is medication resistant. I know it's controversial to say, maybe like 1 in 1 billion people is medication resistant, but there are like dozens of medications. Have you tried all of them? Have you tried all the different combinations? No. So, I mean, this is just like, I recently made a video. I know everything I'm saying is really offensive, but this is real because I just want to help you guys out a lot. But I just made a video on why people go off bipolar medications. And in the video, I talked about how a lot of people will try 1 medication, 2 medications, 3 medications, and they don't work and they give up when there's dozens of options. And I've done that before, but I chose to go back on. You know what I mean? Like, I've gone off meds like 5 times. I always go back on. So I take my treatment program very, very seriously, and I think everyone should as well. And it's just heartbreaking to me when someone is like in depression or bipolar or hears voices in schizoaffective disorder and like doesn't get treatment for it. It like literally breaks my heart. So that's why I want to help you guys out, and that's why I've made like 70 videos about bipolar disorder, because I want to push you guys towards treatment. Okay. Sacred Heart said I would suggest the Daily Rosary and Our Mother. Not for depression. Yes, that would like somewhat help mental illness, but obviously like the brain is like as if you had diabetes or cancer, you need to treat it like a physical organ in your body. But absolutely the rosary does help my bipolar a lot, so I highly recommend that. Spooky says, I am coming out as gay to you and to the 60 other people in the live chat. If you want to message me about that one-on-one, you can message me on Twitter or Instagram if you want to talk about it more. Eric says the catechism always references biblical sources. Yes, I was shocked by that. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous because obviously Catholicism is biblical and goes by the Bible, but it's like, it's kind of funny how anytime a Catholic like references the Bible or like the catechism does or like a church father writing references a ton of Bible verses, it still kind of shocks me because like I forget that Catholicism is so into the Bible. But yeah, in the catechism, they have like loads of footnotes of Bible verses, which is so cool. Michelle says, I was lucky. I was 20 when I was diagnosed. Same. I was diagnosed with depression when I was 20 as well. Will says, what are the best jobs for manic depression? I think a job that is an at-home job that doesn't have 8 to 5 hours where you can kind of wake up at different times, so more flexible, is the best job. Like just an office job where you have to be somewhere at a certain time. Like I could never do that. So I know like for me, YouTube works really, really well. And also I do my campus ministry stuff that is in the evening. So something that's in the evening so that if you accidentally sleep too long, you can still make it to work. What is the best book you'd recommend for early church stuff? So 2 things. Number 1, I made a video where I talk about the top 20 most Catholic theology books. So just YouTube search Lizzie's Answers theology books. It will come up. Also, if you Google Lizzie's Answers Amazon shop, my Amazon shop comes up and there's different pages. There's like bipolar books, fiction books, theology books, philosophy books. So go to the theology section and there's like loads of books. So I'm sure you'll find one on the topic that you're interested in. But also if you can't find the video or the Amazon shop, please DM me on Instagram or Twitter and I will directly send you those links. Nicole says, miss you. I miss you too. MC says, it's not so much that they don't know their stuff. My RCIA is led by a skilled person, but when I confront about stuff that bothers me, I got a Band-Aid on my wound, a one-size-fits-all, not solving the root of the problem. Yeah, maybe you should meet one-on-one with your priest who's gone to like 7 years of schooling for philosophy and theology, or you could, yeah. I would go to a priest. I always recommend people to go to a priest. So many people ask me questions about things or like are dealing with problems, and I'm like, go to a priest, go to confession. Like, that's just my number one thing. Like, go to someone who's way smarter than I am. Okay. Jillian says, I'm happy you are so happy because I was miserable with my bipolar 2. Yes. So my understanding is that bipolar 2 has more depression episodes and bipolar 1 has more manic episodes. So I've been in kind of a manic-like, hypomanic-like state for the past 4 years. But when I was in depression, I was like not even miserable. I just had zero emotions. I was frozen. It was hell. So I've definitely been there for, I think, like a year and a half. I was in depression. And since then, I have not been in depression because I take Lamictal, which is an amazing mood stabilizer that blocks you from going into depression. Heather says, I've realized, though already knew, how pets can really be the best love of your life due to their unconditional love. Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, I'm going to go grab my phone charger real quick. Not my phone charger. My Mac charger real quick because my computer is about to run out of memory. Also, if you guys want to see my dress, this is what it looks like. I'm sure people are going to comment it's immodest, even though it goes to the floor, which is so ridiculous, right? Okay, so I'm plugging in my charger. I'll be back in a second. The thing about this computer is it tells you like I'm about to die and then dies in like 2 minutes. And I mean, maybe I hadn't figured out the settings yet, but it doesn't really tell you what percentage it's at. So anytime now it looks low, I'm like, okay, immediately plug in or it's gonna go away or something. Pat says, why do people say your priest? So I say my priest to 2 different priests. So basically just a priest who you're really close to, who you participate in the sacraments with, who you work with. I think they probably think it's really sweet also that we call them like my priest. So basically like you're a parish priest, like wherever you go to your church, whichever mass you're going to, that's your priest if you know them really well. So yeah, I think it's a really sweet thing. Like that's my priest. So yeah. Demand Wood says, I Google search. Oh, and then Eric says they mean parish priest, not your priest. Yes, I do mean my priest, and he would vouch for that as well. Demand says, I Google search your MBTI and know it alls. Okay. Joshua said, I found out that there are 2 other Catholics in my college class at 9 a.m. You should talk to them for sure and like figure out how to do a Catholic Bible study or go to mass, daily mass together or something, or do a rosary group. That could be really fun. Fatima said, are you back home? Yes. Demand says, pretty dress, ESTJ. Yeah, I feel like Myers-Briggs was, I feel like Myers-Briggs was a thing like 4 years ago. But if you're still into it, I'm an ESTJ, and everyone thinks I'm an ENFJ because I'm so sweet and emotional and like reflective. But in real life, like especially my live streams, my like ESTJ intensity logic comes out where it's like, I don't care about emotions. Let's just say it how it is type thinking. Fatima said, I call my priest father. Yeah, I do too. I say like father's over there. Like at one point, I was like talking to some people and they're like, is your dad over there? And I'm like, no, father. Because I didn't say like father so-and-so. I just said father's over there. So yeah, I think that's really sweet to call him that as well. Eric says, pray for not nice Protestants. I used to be one. Yeah, me too. Geraldine says, your hair looks fabulous. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Your hair looks absolutely fabulous. Well, it'll look even more fabulous on Tuesday afternoon. I'm a believer says, what is the Catholic belief on the Levitical laws, like not rounding off your beard? So in Catholicism, you can make your beard look however you want. You can cut your hair however you want. You can dye your hair as I do. You can shave your head. There's a lot of options in Catholicism. There's not really Yeah, but funny story. So I grew up in a church called Churches of Christ. And in COC, one of the main colleges for COC was Harding University in Arkansas. And you couldn't have a beard on campus. Like, you weren't allowed to grow it out. And also, women were not allowed to wear shorts. Like, you could only wear certain types of shorts. It was really weird. Like, so weird. JS says, can I only marry a Catholic girl? Right now I'm 25 and I can't remember the last time I met a Catholic woman my age. It's like they are a myth. So I recommend marrying someone who is Catholic. The entire point of marriage is helping each other get to heaven and raising children and educating them in the Catholic Church. So it just makes sense that a Catholic partner would be the best in helping you to do that. That's what I recommend. So, yeah, like, I'm dating a Catholic. I would never marry someone who's not Catholic. That's just my personal beliefs. You're allowed to marry people who aren't Catholic, but that should be like a last resort situation where you're like certain that they will convert in the future, because that's an option where people grow up non-Catholic and then get married to a Catholic and then end up converting. That totally happens a lot. So, what else was I going to say? Use dating apps. Please go on dating apps. Go on Catholic Match. Go on Tinder. Go on Bumble. Go on Coffee Meets Bagel and create an app. Create an account, a portfolio, and on your portfolio, write Catholic. And one of my friends who did this said he got in so many debates with Protestants on it. So it's a good evangelism strategy as well. If you put Catholic, people will be like, the Catholic Church is the blank of Babylon. You're worshiping idols. You worship Mary. You don't go by the Bible. So you can like have dialogue and promote the Catholic Church through your dating apps. So I totally recommend using dating apps. I went to so many weddings last year, unfortunately not this year, and everyone almost met on dating apps. So that's how you do it. And it's kind of like the same thing where people are like, oh, my depression is so bad, refuse to go on medication. It's the same thing where it's like, oh, I'm single, refuse to use dating apps. So just like fix the problem by using dating apps. And some of my friends, like one of my friends said she went on like 100 dates until she met her husband, which they have an amazing, beautiful Christian relationship and are about to have a baby together. So you just have to try and try and try and try and not give up. Heather says, what about INFJs? So a lot of people in my life are INFJs. My ex was an INFJ, and they have hurt me the absolute most of like anyone in my life are INFJs. So I don't want to say who else in my life is an INFJ, but I've known a lot of INFJs. And they like, I don't know, they don't like reach out to you as friends, and they make me feel like they don't care about me. JC says, I used to think that dating apps weren't for me, but I've taken your advice and opened my mind to it and I've tried it. Yeah, keep trying. Like I said, it might take 100 dates to find your romantic partner, but it can happen, so keep trying. Do you have any videos defending Christians from anti-Christian feminists? I would want to know like exactly what point you're talking about. I mean, I think it's convenient when when debating people or talking about the faith to go like point by point. And I was actually just leading a training last week on religious literacy and how to like debate each other in a way, argue in a way that's respectful. It's really important to like start off by defining your terms, going over what premises are leading towards your conclusion. Ask a lot of clarification questions so you can both know that you're talking about the same thing. I think a lot of times in dialogue nowadays, people are like talking past each other. So make sure to slow down, listen, ask questions, make sure they're listening to you. And I think that will help in literally any religious argument. And make sure you're not like argument, but like argument, talking about the points. That's what I mean. ESTJ, compliment, ISTP, or INTP. My boyfriend is an ISTP. How do you personally keep faith that the Catholic Church is the true church? So I've done a lot of reading of early Christianity, the church fathers, and they had a lot of beliefs that look Catholic. They had monarchical bishops in the first century, 100%. They even had evidence for the Pope in the first century. Eucharist, like literal body and blood of Christ in the 1st century, Mary theology, 2nd century. So all these things are just like in the very beginning of the early church. And it's kind of like, what churches have monarchical bishops and the real presence of the Eucharist? Orthodox, Catholic, Oriental Orthodox. So from there, you can really narrow it down. So that really helps a lot. Like I said, I have a video of Catholic books I recommend to read and an Amazon playlist of even more books. So definitely DM me on Instagram or Twitter if you're not able to find the video or the Amazon playlist. And we can also talk about specific topics, and I'll recommend a book that could help you with that. Irene says, Lizzie, do a video on street preachers insulting the Catholic faith. Okay, let me go grab my planner real quick because I actually found a video that I want to talk about. And it's so hilarious, you guys. So, I hope I can find the exact video. But, wow, I have so much going on next week. I need to make, like, an eye appointment. My parents want me to make a dermatologist appointment because I have moles on my body and they, like, want to make sure they're not cancerous. And I haven't gone to the dentist in a while either here. I'll make a dentist appointment as well. Okay. I just need to, like, for glasses, well, I lost my glasses, number one, but for glasses and contacts, you have to get a new eye appointment every year. But, let me see. Okay. Street preachers video. There's this one video, this one Protestant channel, and they really go after Catholics a lot. So that would be really, really fun to react to. Eric says a fetus is a human from day one because it is not anything else, not a dog, only a human. Anaga says, I emailed one of these guys and he never responded. Jonathan said, Lizzie, have you heard of the American Solidarity Party? They basically are pro-life, womb to tomb. They have a lot of Democratic policies and a lot of Republican policies, and in that sense, they're very Catholic. Have you read Theology of the Body? I've read excerpts from it, and I've read kind of like what you're saying, the essay version, because the original is very detailed and intellectual, so I've definitely read parts of it, but not like 100% all the way through. Common Sense America says, I like some Catholic people, but I can't personally see myself being a Catholic. So I couldn't either. I think that my personality type fits really well in Protestantism and evangelical Protestant churches. It just fits really well. So yeah, I couldn't see myself as being Catholic either. I talked about this a lot when I converted at the beginning in like 2018, sorry, you guys, where I talked about how I just didn't like the vibe of Catholicism. I didn't like Catholicism at all. I didn't like the essence of it, the vibe of it, the culture of it. It just wasn't for me. But I'm Catholic now because it's true. So it's not about like what feels right. It's about what is objectively true about what the early Christians believed. And like I said, in the 1st century, they had monarchical bishops, literal Eucharist, evidence for the Pope. 2nd century, Mary theology of Mary being the new Eve. So all of these things go back to the early church. Oh, I just thought of another video. I'm going to write down why Mary had a painless pregnancy. It's like a very bizarre doctrine, right? But I mentioned it in so many videos, so it's definitely... Joshua, do you read papal documents? Yes. When I research for videos, I read the papal documents. I highly recommend reading the ones, especially like the modern ones about different dogmas, like the Assumption of Mary and papal infallibility. And which was the other one that was like pretty recent? Why women cannot be priests. Like a lot of these documents are really short, easy to read. They cite a lot of sources. They cite Bible verses for it. So I really recommend people to read more papal documents. Everything is available for free on the Vatican website. So it's really cool how easy everything is. Okay, guys, I know I keep leaving for stuff, but I'm going to go get my fan because it's getting so hot and I personally don't use the AC to save money. So, So I'm gonna see what the comments are talking about. Uh-oh, do I have an outlet to plug this? Yes, I do. I have an outlet over here. Sorry, you guys, I don't know what the deal is. I'm trying to like plug this in and it's not working like at all. I don't know why I can't plug an outlet thing in. What is going on? Why can't I do this? This is so weird. Oh, I think it's a very like tight outlet for some reason. Let's see if this flows. Cool. Okay, we're gonna do number 2 and see how that works. Okay. Look, there's like sweat on me and stuff. Okay. Thank you for the super comment. Jarellen says, God bless you, Lizzie. I love praying the chaplet of divine mercy with extended arms and kneeling. I heard it will bring about conversions. Absolutely. The divine mercy chaplet is so beautiful. Okay, let's make sure we didn't get any other super comments in. Nope. Okay. JS, is it a sin to own a casino? I don't know the answer to that question. I would definitely ask someone else other than me. But I personally am like completely against gambling because the way they set up the electronic gambling stuff is very addicting. What is your opinion of Matt Fradd? So I was on his show, Pins with Aquinas. It was really good. We were planning, well, okay. He didn't really talk to me at all. I had a manager at the time and he talked to her and she gave me zero information. I can make a whole video on problems I have with her. I will never do that though. That'd be really mean and rude. But yeah, so we had planned this and I knew he talked about a lot of philosophy. I majored in philosophy. So I thought we were going to talk a lot about like the soul and physicalism and like different beliefs that I had that changed when I became Catholic. And instead, it was just like interviewing me about my life rather than like talking philosophy. So I think he thought like I wasn't up to the challenge to actually talk about philosophy, but I had a degree in that. So I was like a little, not like offended by that, but I thought it was kind of like a missed opportunity to actually have a great like intellectual dialogue. So yeah, I mean, I get it that I'm really young and everything. So he probably saw that and was like, she can't have a real philosophy discussion. So yeah, I'm not offended by that. He probably didn't even know that I went to school for philosophy or anything. But yeah, and his YouTube channel is like amazing. I really, really love what he's doing on his channel. He brings in really, really cool people and they talk about really controversial topics. Like recently, I don't know if this was recently, but this showed up in my feed. He made a video talking about the violinist argument for abortion, which is so complicated and complex. It's basically saying that it is okay to murder in some situations. And because like a lot of people with abortion arguments are like, it's not a human life, it's not a human baby. But the violinist argument and some abortion arguments within the field of philosophy say it is murder, but it's okay to murder sometimes. So that was one of those arguments, and I think it's really compelling and everything. So Michelle said my Catholic friends like to gamble on vacations. Heather says, have you done the Enneagram test? Yes, I made a whole video of the Enneagram test and me taking it, not liking it. So yeah, you can go watch that video if you're interested. Eric says, Augustine was a great example of a troubled saint. Jonathan says the violinist video was a good one. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm reading through comments. MZ says, I'm on an asthma medication and finally can live a normal life. Even if the asthma still happens sometimes, it's not as bad as it was before the medication. See, taking medications for physical problems including mental illnesses, is absolutely amazing and can change your life. Common Sense America says, life for me is about taking care of my family and making sure they are taken care of in the future. That's about it. I don't want any kids. Jake Loves Jesus says, Lizzie, what is the weirdest thing you've ever heard a Christian preach on? I've heard people say stuffed animal is idols. LOL. Okay, so the cringiest thing that I've ever heard preached on was during a VBS at the church I went to high school at, where they had pictures of humans riding dinosaurs. I'm not kidding. Humans riding dinosaurs. Can you believe it? That's hilarious. Gyro says, Lizzie, last night I shared a snippet video from The Chosen with a priest friend of mine. He liked it so much that he used it in today's homily. That's so cool. The Life of a Catholic says, hi, Lizzie, it's Jake. I have been baptized, confirmed, and received First Communion today. Yay! Welcome home. Welcome to Catholicism. That is so exciting. You're my new brother in Catholicism, brother in Christ. That's so cool. Oh, I'm so happy. Okay, I'm reading through comments. Jonathan says, Matt Fradd attends a Byzantine church and has some decent interviews with a Byzantine Catholic priest and a Byzantine nun, but I wish he would do more of that. Yeah, because the Byzantine liturgy is absolutely beautiful. So I think it would be cool if he included more of that content on his channel. Anaga says, have you heard of Father Ripperger? Maybe I should make a video on reacting to Father Ripperger. Okay, maybe we'll have that video. Gyro says another toddler. No! Jake is a baby. He's a baby Catholic right now. Fatima said, have you ever thought of how your life would be if you were a cradle Catholic? So I personally am grateful for the way I grew up, because post-Vatican II, a lot of Catholic families don't teach their kids the faith and the Bible and like the intellectual dimensions of Catholicism. And how I grew up, I learned the Bible really, really, really well, like so well. My churches focus on that a lot. So I like how I grew up because I got a really strong emphasis on the Bible, and now I can research and get a really good emphasis on church history and that aspect of theology. So I really like how I grew up. I think it's good the way I grew up. I wouldn't have had a conversion story that could help convert other people if it were not for growing up Protestant. So I think God had an amazing plan with me and my faith life and all of that. And I mean, I went to Pepperdine, which is a Church of Christ college, because of where I grew up. That's where I met so many Catholics. That's where people were converting into Catholicism. So I just think it's beautiful how so many Catholic converts can influence even more people to convert and to come into the church. So yeah, I mean, my kids are going to be cradle Catholics, so I need to make sure that they know the Bible really, really, really well. Anaga says, do you have a podcast? If not, would you think about starting a Catholic one? So I actually have audio clips from videos that may turn into a podcast eventually. So maybe I could like interview people and stuff. But yeah, here, I'll write that down. Podcast ? I could put it on Spotify and all. Okay. Let's look at more questions. Okay. Irene said, you're wearing a miraculous medal. I'm always wearing a Benedictine medal, but I'm considering wearing the miraculous medal and scapular too, but maybe it's too much. You can wear some of them like underneath your clothes, but if you just had them all like out, like I wouldn't do that in front of my Protestant friends at all. Michelle says, I'm going to go over to another live stream. Wanted to say hi. Hi. Enjoyed the other live stream. Lul, does the Catholic Church accept gay people? Yes. If you have same-sex attraction, you're allowed to become Catholic. No one is ever turned away from becoming Catholic, especially if it's something that you're just born with a certain inclination. So that's obviously not a sin if you just feel a certain way. But I have an entire Google Doc talking in depth about the church's view of gay marriage, why we don't have gay marriage in Catholicism, same-sex attraction, theology of the body, everything that goes into that. So if you would like that, please DM me on Twitter or Instagram, and I will send you the link to the Google Doc on everything having to do with Catholicism and homosexuality, because I think that's a really difficult topic. A lot of people have so many questions about it. I've talked about it in so many live streams, and I'm honestly kind of tired of talking about it because it's one of the top questions that I get, and I've mentioned it in so many videos. So yes, I will redirect you to another video for sure. Happy Dog says, what do you think of Catholics who believe that Vatican II is heretical and not the true church? So I think that a lot of the people who think like that have good intentions, and it's just really damaging, I think, that it almost is divisive within the church, and it creates different factions where there's people who are like Novus Ordo, people who like Latin Mass, people who are Byzantine, people who hate Vatican II, which is part of the Latin Mass group. And so I think that it's really, really, really sad and divisive and makes us less united. And like the word Catholicism means like universal church, united church. And so we're all supposed to be together and one, regardless of what country, nationality, gender, everything. So yeah, it's really, really sad. I don't get like angry at it. I just get sad. Yvonne says, you are beautiful. Thank you so much. Google account says, hi, Lizzie. Is that your biggest fan? Do you mean like, are you my biggest fan, or were you referring to someone else? Geraldine said, no one is attacking you for what you shared. Yes, this person named Spooky has been saying I'm coming out as gay about like 50 times in the chat already, even though I addressed it and said I would love for you to message me about it if you want to talk about it more. So yeah, and no one's attacking him for it. So I think that says a lot about my YouTube audience and Catholicism in general and our thoughts and love towards everyone. Oh, Google account says the fan in your hair. Yeah, I have like a tower fan thing that I'm using. So yes, I love them a lot. Alfonso says, hi, Lizzie from North Carolina. I like your videos. Thank you for being here. It's so cool how people from all over the country and all over the world can all watch my videos together. It's wild, and it's honestly taught me so much about culture and like people of different ages as well, sharing about relationships and different religions and like bipolar everything. Like getting to read messages from all around the world is incredible, and I've learned so much about life from all of you guys as my subscribers. Get a box fan. No, the tower fans are so small and you can like fit them in a corner. It's so nice. Gyra says, you are very kind and patient, Lizzie. Well, St. Paul says, love is patient, love is kind. So I'm glad that I come across as loving to you. That's so sweet. So I'm going to go grab a LaCroix because I'm thirsty. Usually I have drinks prepared for my videos, or I'm eating in my videos. So today is a LaCroix day. the guy Jake who just became Catholic just messaged me. That's so sweet. I'll show you guys my lock screen. This is me and Trevor. So if you guys know like the iconic World War the iconic World War II photo. Yeah. So that's us kissing under in like San Diego? Yeah, San Diego. I always get confused because like so many cities in California are named after saints. So I always get like San Diego, San Francisco, everything confused. Santa Barbara confused with each other. Santa Monica. They're all named after saints. It's so cool. Fatima, how have you been, Lizzie? I've been really good. I started today a video where I try meditation for a week, and actually my atheist best friend is trying out the app because they gave me, you have to pay for it, so they gave me a free login, so I sent it to him because I want him to become Catholic because he's really interested in meditation and was like going to tell me about it and stuff. So I'm so interested to see if like his meditation is similar to the Catholic meditation app. So yeah. Google account says I've been watching masses online from India and Australia. So it's like there's a vigil for the next daily mass. Caitlin says I was researching different medications this morning. Hopefully I won't get too many negative side effects. Yeah, it totally depends on the person. I would say like the only medication I had side effects on was lithium, which was a mood stabilizer for bipolar, and it was like very dehydrating. But most medications, you have like side effects for a week going on, except antidepressants. Actually, I never had side effects going on. I had side effects going off for like a day when I was like tapering off. But yeah, some people gain weight on antidepressants, but I personally think it's people who eat unhealthy. But that's my opinion on why. Because some of the medicines I've been on, like everyone gains weight on them, and I haven't gained any weight at all. And so I think it's because I'm vegan and eat really healthy. But that's kind of like the one mitigating factor I can think about. Heather says, I've read a movie review comment that a now formal model who is in a blank film is HSP. HSP could have an ambiguous meaning. Yes, HSP is a little ambiguous. So I made a video a few years ago called 13 Signs of a Hypersensitive Person, HSP, which I was diagnosed with in high school. And I kind of think it's like interwoven with mental illness because I would say like now I don't have any of that experience. Not any of it. I have some of it, but not a lot of it. Just because my meds, like my antipsychotics really numb my emotions, and I'm fine with it. But it's just interesting that like that was such a core part of me, and now it's really not. Can we please not talk about herbal remedies when we're talking about depression? Like, guys, medication is where it's at when it's a physical organ. When you tell someone with cancer to try out herbal remedies, it's so ridiculous. Jake loves Jesus. A lot of Christians I know are divorced and remarried. Do you believe they're going to hell? I've heard various views on it. So basically, Jesus sets off in the Bible. Let's read the exact passage. Matthew 19. Yeah. I'm going to the Bible verse and we'll read it together. So Jesus says, he answered, so the Pharisees, this is Matthew 19. This is the Catholic Church goes by Jesus. The Pharisees came to him, testing him and saying, is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife? Jesus answered and said to them, have you not read that he who made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, for this reason a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So then they are no longer two but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let not man separate. They said to him, why then did Moses command to give a certificate of divorce? He said to them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, permitted you to divorce, but from the beginning it was not so. And so I say to you, whoever divorces his wife except for sexual immorality and marries another commits adultery. And whoever marries her who is divorced commits adultery. So that's how we view it, where yes, you can get divorced, but you can't get remarried in Catholicism. So a couple would have to be celibate if they had been previously married and were wanting to come into the Catholic Church and receive the Eucharist. But there's a lot of marriages in the US, like Pope Francis talks about this a lot, that are not even valid. Like if you didn't have a Catholic wedding, it might not be valid. So you may have never been married in your first marriage in the first place, so then it wouldn't be adultery. So the most important thing is to go to a priest and talk to the priest about your previous wedding to see whether or not it was an actual marriage. And yeah, there are situations though where couples, in order to receive the Eucharist, choose to live celibate. But I think that's more of a rare situation. So definitely talk to your priest about the situation. And I know like a couple at my church they were married, but it wasn't a sacramental marriage according to the Catholic Church. So they had to stop having sex for a month until they could schedule a wedding with our priest and get like actual married in order to receive the Eucharist. He had to do that because it was a Catholic who had grown up Catholic, had his first communion, but was not confirmed. So before he was confirmed, he had to get remarried basically, but it was already a marriage. So does that make sense? It's kind of like baptism. Like the Mormon and Jehovah's Witness church, they have baptisms, but it's not Trinitarian, so it's not a real baptism. So when someone from this group converts into Catholicism, they get baptized, and a lot of people would say they're getting rebaptized. No, they're getting baptized for the first time because that wasn't a real baptism. Okay. Jeremiah says, miss you. You look great. Yay. Thank you for still being here. I'm sorry I was gone. Caitlin says, have you ever had Adderall? So a lot of people who have bipolar also have ADHD. And it's interesting. Some people are misdiagnosed with ADHD who actually turn out to just be bipolar and not have it. But it can be kind of a bad concoction just because it can make you go into mania, but it totally depends on the person. And probably if someone was on Adderall who is bipolar, they'd also be on another medication that will calm down any effects that would make you go manic. Does the Catholic Church teach that Jesus' human nature was below his divine nature? So Jesus was both human and divine. He has both natures, and there was never a time throughout his life when it was like, this is his divine nature acting. This is his human nature acting. It was constantly both natures all throughout Jesus' life, through every single thought, emotion, and action that he did. So that's really important. It's so complicated talking about this stuff because there's so many heresies that are involved that can crop up. Okay. Fatima says, do you have a good memory? So this is a really interesting question. So I have a horrible memory because of my bipolar. I had a lot of damage from depression, and like I talk about this in so many videos, but this is the hippocampus. It especially shrinks a lot in depression. It's concerned with converting short-term memory into long-term memory. So I would say that because of that, I have a horrible memory. I like forget my relationship with Trevor. So he says that he's my hard drive because my own brain doesn't record things. So it's kind of funny. I have him remind me of memories and stuff. So it's really sweet that he can do that for me. But it's really hurtful to him that I forget like really important parts of our love story. Happy Dog says, what do you think of Henry VIII and the English Reformation? So basically the start of the Anglican Church. I think a lot of people who are like looking into Oh, it's right. I think a lot of people who are looking into different denominations and like maybe Protestant churches, Catholicism, and are like figuring out which church they want to be, when they hear about Anglicanism, it's like immediate no for a church that could be true, just because the Anglican church split from the Catholic church because Henry VIII wanted a divorce. Like, it wasn't a theological difference at all. He just wanted a divorce. So I always find that really, really interesting. Joshua says, what are your thoughts on exorcism? So I don't have a lot of thoughts on exorcism. Jake says, I'm going to go. Have a good day. May Jesus bless you all. God bless you too. Jeremiah says, why isn't it unfair that if you have an abusive spouse, you still can't remarry? Okay, here's the thing. You can't get divorced. So if you're in an abusive situation, a physically abusive marriage, separate. Stop living with them. The Catholic Church is not at all saying that you have to continue to be in an emotionally, physically, sexually abusive situation. Absolutely not. We are not saying that you can't separate or can't get a civil divorce. So no one is saying that in Catholicism at all. I think that's a really common question, and I should have said that at the very beginning when we were talking about this topic. Eddie says it's like the movie 50 First Dates, like getting a new boyfriend every day. Yeah. So that movie actually, like, I related to a lot looking back because I didn't have my bipolar was not fully out when I watched it. But the way her memory lost, I think it's the movie I'm thinking of. It's crazy. I've actually seen a movie and we can reference it together. But yeah, her experience where he had to remind her every day who he was is like a bit similar, but obviously on like a less intense level of what like I have to deal with all the time. Happy Dog says, is it wrong? Dude, oh my goodness, this comment is ridiculous. With so many hearts. Jesus died for you. When we pray the sorrowful mysteries of the rosary, we meditate on that. Joshua says, do you fast or do other forms of penance? So I have had disordered eating in the past, so that's why I never fast when it comes to like Ash Wednesday, stuff like that. I'm also a vegan, so whenever we're not supposed to eat meat in Catholicism, I don't eat meat anyways. So that never really is a fast situation for me. But yeah, penance is really interesting. I know during a lot of the Marian apparitions, she's constantly talking about penance. But that's something that I've never really personally gotten into. But I definitely should. So if you have any resources, definitely DM me and tell me more how I can learn about penance. Jeremiah, how is California being on fire treating you? So I'm not being personally affected by it. I'm honestly kind of used to it. We've had so many fires in the past few years. There's actually a fire that almost burned down Pepperdine University, which is where I went for my undergrad, my alma mater. So that was kind of freaky and kind of freaked me out because I just like lived there for 4 years. So I was very used to the place. And to think that like my old home basically would be burned down was kind of crazy. But the other fires are like definitely further away. I think that, yeah, like there have been times when I've like walked out of the airplane and seen the fires like immediately. So going into the Burbank airport. So I'm just kind of used to it and it doesn't really bother me. It's kind of like how there's tornado. I don't know. People get scared by tornadoes. It's kind of like hurricanes. Like when I lived in Florida, there were hurricanes all the time and it like isn't a big deal because you like know what to do in case of a hurricane and you have like hurricane proof windows and like hurricane kits and all these things. So fires are similar where you like get used to it because it happens so often. Fatima says it doesn't seem like you have a bad memory at all. Yeah, I mean, if you were in my life and like talking about different things, they're like, my friends are like, oh, do you remember this? And I'm like, yeah. And then they talk about it more and then I actually remember it. So I know it would offend people a lot. Like when they first start talking about something, I don't remember it at all. But then when they talk about it more, I remember it. Spooky says, what is your favorite nail polish colors? So right now I have my favorite color, which is blue. I have like sparkles on these fingers and then regular on that. So blue or pink. So I always do like this shade of blue or like a really bold blue, like here. I don't know if I can grab this, but I'll show you the exact shade of blue that I get sometimes. This thing, I get like this color blue a lot, like a vibrant like blue neon. Or I get like hot pink, and those are basically like blue pink, the nails that I get. I never get any other colors of nail polish. So right now we're on blue, and I'll go pink next time. Joshua says, do you live in Burbank? No, but it's like a really nice airport to fly into. It's like very small compared to LAX. Like LAX is like a whole thing. So it's just a tiny airport. And actually when you get off the airplane, it's so cool. They don't have a terminal. I mean, they have a terminal. They don't have like, what is the thing called when like you're in the airport and then you walk out of on this thing, like a thing like that connects to the airplane. So instead there's a ladder, like a staircase that you get off of, and there's one in the back and in the front. And so you just like walk outside on the staircase and then walk on the ground to get inside the airport on the first floor. So it's definitely like an interesting thing. It's like an old-fashioned airport that never really got like modernized. Irene says, Lizzie, did you watch The Chosen? Yes, I watched the first episode of The Chosen after everyone like bantering about it for months. So I really loved it a lot, and I will continue to watch it. Okay. Fatima, can you play guitar with your nails done? I cannot. It depends on how long they are. So like these are generally pretty short, but when I have like really long nails, then I can't. But it depends on like how much I grow them out. So during quarantine, I played my guitar so much, but when I have long nails, I can't. But since I travel a lot, like when I travel a lot, I want longer nails because I'm not going to be playing guitar, if that makes sense. Mimi says, how can I convince my parents that I shouldn't be taking birth control unless I have some type of illness that makes it where I absolutely have to take it? So that's such a hard question. I don't even know how. I mean, I would have to know your parents and like how to approach them and stuff, but I would just tell them like, I'm not having sex. I don't have sex. I'm Catholic. I will only have sex if I get married. So it's literally pointless to be on this. And you know what you should say? That there's side effects of birth control, like it numbs all of your emotions, and you've heard people talk about how it completely changes their personality once they go off of it. It's like their true personality. So maybe say that. Maybe that would like scare them into letting you get on it. Joshua says, can you please explain the Catholic view on faith alone and how that differs from the Protestant view? So I have an entire video talking about faith alone salvation, and I will link it for you in the chat if you can't access it in the chat. Here we go, Saved by Faith Alone.
Our prayerful St. Benedict door hang home blessing features a St. Benedict crucifix and
they're talking about a St. Benedict blessing door hanging thing, and that's on my video. Okay, Faith Alone Salvation. Here you go. So quit the live stream and go watch the video. And like I said, if you can't access it, then yeah. Basically, the Catholic Church believes that faith and works are intertwined intimately and go together, and that God's grace is intimately intertwined with our actions. So anytime you do a righteous action, you are living out your faith. That is faith. Like faith is the action, and God's grace is incorporated into the entire action. So you cannot separate faith, works, and grace. So that's the most important thing. Also, the Greek etymology, so this is like the Greek of the New Testament, of faith, the word pistis, faith, means entrusting actions to God. It does not mean an intellectual assent to an idea. In fact, the whole concept of having an intellectual belief apart from actions and living it out was a brand new thing in modernism and the Enlightenment. It did not exist for the majority of the history of Christianity. So it's completely anachronistic to have this faith alone salvation attitude. So I hope that makes sense. Definitely watch the entire video, and I explain a lot in the video all about it. Jeremiah said, a lot of my relatives had to evacuate, and now some people are staying at our place. Ashes all over everything outside. It's sad, poor trees. Honestly, it smells nice, though. That's interesting that you like the campfire vibes. Very interesting. Lul says, can anybody tell me what's inside the Catholic Church where they prepare the Eucharist? I don't understand what you're talking about. Do you mean like the tabernacle where the Eucharist is in? The little house for the Eucharist? It just has the Eucharist. Mimi, I already answered your question. Go back in the video and you'll find it. Geraldine says, we drink LaCroix every day. It has no sugar. Yep, really healthy, just water. Okay, cool. Done with that. I think I'm gonna go soon just because I need to continue filming stuff for my meditation video. I also want to pray the rosary. But if there's any burning questions left, let me know. Maybe they're asking about the room next to the altar. The sacristy. So the room, okay. So like the area up front that has like the table and then the priest is here and then all the people are sitting here. So over here, there's a room and it's called the sacristy. And they have the vestments, they have water, they have the cloths they use for the Eucharist. They have wine. They just store a lot of things there that are important for Mass to happen. Caitlin says she's obsessed with seltzer water and LaCroix. Javier says the Eucharist is made during Mass, so the place where it's prepared is the altar. Jonathan says the guy who plays Jesus in Chosen was baptized Antiochian Greek Orthodox but joined a Roman Catholic church in high school. So he's canonically Melkite Greek Catholic but doesn't know it. Oh, that's so interesting. Happy Dog, when are you going live again? So I need to think about my schedule. Yeah, so probably on Tuesday I will live stream. I'll even write this down, live stream. And I'll probably live stream at night around like 10 p.m. Eastern time, which is 7 p.m. on Pacific. And I will announce that on my social media. We just planned a date together to hang out. Okay. Eddie says, you are an excellent apologist. Could you do a video about the supposedly brothers of Jesus, their parents are found in scripture? Yes, I've already made a video on that called Why Mary is a Perpetual Virgin. So I will link that video for you. Sorry, the ad's playing. Wow, this has 67,000 views. I'm glad people are on it with learning this dogma, because it's definitely a hard dogma because it talks about Jesus' brothers and sisters in scripture, but in Greek, everything goes back to Greek etymology, right? So in Greek, the word adelphos for brothers and sisters also means cousins. And in that society, they often lived where like the grandfather and the sons and their wives and their children were all living together. So you were living in a house with your cousins. So they almost were like brothers and sisters with how close you were. And so definitely watch the whole video. I explain a lot of things, but the main thing is that when it says brothers and sisters, it also means cousins. Also, the reason we know that Jesus was an only sibling is because he gave away his mother to John when he was on the cross. So it was a patriarchal society. The men would take care of the women. And so Jesus, as the oldest sibling, would give his mom away to his younger brother, the husband of his younger sister. But he did not give his mom away to a sibling because he didn't have any siblings. He gave her away to John. It would have been unheard of So disrespectful, violating, to give away his mom to a friend instead of one of his siblings. It just wouldn't have happened. And so the fact that he's giving away his mother on the cross proves that Mary is a perpetual virgin and that Jesus did not have brothers and sisters. Do you believe that a Baptist and a Catholic can get along depending on beliefs? Absolutely. You can be friends with people even if you disagree with their positions. Absolutely. Okay, they were not Jesus' brothers, even though someone said that. Fatima says, it's great you have done the most asked questions about Catholicism, but it's awesome that Catholicism has these answers. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, you guys. So anyways, we've been here for an hour and 10 minutes. The new Fatima movie comes out this week. What day does it come out? I'm so excited. That will be so, so cool. Okay. I love you guys a lot. And the next time you see me, I will have my blonde hair instead of this like weird golden tinge thing. Anyways, so I love you guys a lot. And I will see you in my next live stream, which will be on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, and then I'll stream for like around 2 hours. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!